Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order, Last Days of Europe, with me, Alpha Omega, and Empire of Japan. So in the last episode we ended with the event, the rebirth of the Soviet Union. It seems that once again the Red Army has proven itself the strongest force in Russia, rising above all challengers to rout their opposition and reunify the motherland. Rising from the humblest of beginnings, trapped in the city of Arkhangelsk after the disastrous ending of the West Russian War, it seems the West Russian Revolutionary Front has reconstituted itself as the reborn Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Led by Grand Marshal Mikhail Tukhachevsky, a strategic genius and proponent of deep bad warfare, many observers have assumed that the reborn of USSR will turn its gaze to the West. Some even question if Tukhachevsky's ambitions end there, however, and the fresh wave of partisan activity throughout Eastern Europe has only bolstered these claims. Whatever the future holds, the Soviets will march to meet it with militaristic fervor. The return of the Reds. The war can be concluded only with the coming to power of the dictatorship of the proletariat, since the bourgeoisie will not permit the socialist island to live in peace. Arid Dawn. Well, I mean, they are most likely going to deal with Germany. There's the military berserk Moscovian and, and the other areas, but they might also attack the Socialist Republic of Kazakhstan. There is the Mengyang United Autonomous Government. They owned parts of that, definitely parts of Manchuria. We own Karafuto, and all the way to Vladivostok, now called Uragio. And they might come for us as well. We have to be prepared. I actually don't know the outcomes of the USSR unification. I need to check my German campaign, what happened there, whether it was the same or not, and I also want to check how well we did as Germany when it comes to economy, what the GDP was and how we did, because I would like to see that. Anyway, with that said, we can unpause the game. We have managed to finish the war in Iran, and they have joined the co-prosperity sphere, which is just amazing to have them there. They have a pretty decent growth and the GDP of 8.27 billion, so they're quite high on the table. I was looking at our options here when it comes to development programs, and I think we're gonna go with the Hyogo and Yamaguchi choices, because Yamaguchi and Hyogo and Yamaguchi, I think, are the ones. Or was it the Kanahoku? There was one that had like 17 billion GDP, so Kanahoku. Was it Kanahoku? No. Kanahoku is not the one. So it is definitely Yamaguchi. But we'll need to Yamaguchi. No, so it is the last one. Good. So Hyogo. Hyogo. Yep, it was Hyogo. It's right next to Kyoto, and it has a 16.32 billion in GDP. So that one is the one that we want. We can take all of them eventually. It's not an issue. There's also the one in Hiroshima, which is a good choice. But first, we need to get a little bit more people. So I'm gonna launch a propaganda campaign, and then using the public to get to a decent level, and then we can continue with the development. In the meantime, we have finished the 1970s infantry kit and the advanced combat support equipment, and I think the time has come to work at the light aircraft. So we're gonna get the fighters and the Corsair support. Those are the airplanes that we use the most in our conflicts, and it would be the most useful. So the advanced jet fighter gets 5 extra points in air defense, what is that? 16 points in agility. And it gets 9 points in air attack. 300 kilometers in range. Definitely a good one. And the Corsair support is over here. The Mitsubishi Kyounzan. Sub-detection increases, air defense increases by 4, agility by 5, naval attack by 5, ground attack by 5. Yeah, it's a pretty good thing. A dedicated Corsair support aircraft can be produced that take the advantage of our advancements in avionics to provide ground support. These aircraft are designed to destroy the enemy's ground forces first and foremost. Everything else is secondary. So we're gonna do that one. And what did the jet description say? A short-range fighter aircraft would replace many of the heavier models in service without compromising quality. Our improvements in engine and missile technology will take care of that. Short range, 2,200. Yeah, it's definitely not a short range in the normal sense of the word. Okay, so we can now get more subs. Because those are the ones that I would like. I-700. So let's get those, and we get more ready for the drilling. So let's get them. Meanwhile, the economy is growing, and we're looking at the Financial Regulations Act being introduced. I do wonder what it's gonna do for us, to be quite honest. It is something that I would like to see eventually. Yeah, Spain is unifying. I wonder if they're gonna invade Galicia and Portugal. Wow, Portugal is still at war? That's interesting. No, we botched it in Spain, that was a disaster. But we managed to get Mozambique within the sphere, which is great. And... wait, can I see it this way? Nope. But we still have Mozambique and Zaire in the sphere, right? Yeah, Zaire is still in the sphere. The economy is pretty substantial. We lost the Union of African Socialist States, but they were the weaker ones. They joined the West African or Pan-African Community of Mutual Economic Aid. I wonder if they're going to do something more. What about the Soviets? Do they have a focus? They do. Into the atomic age and dissolve the front. New territories. To victory. Slightly decrease coring time. Meet with Ustinov. Yeah, the whole Soviet line is pretty good. I'm actually considering, because people asked me to play Soviet Union, and it would be kind of cool to lose as the Soviet Union, which is very likely on the very hard difficulty against Germany, and then it would make sense to choose one of the socialist successor states and try to, take those and play them and try to reunify the Soviet Union and see what the fuss is all about. Okay, how much support of the public do we need? 30. I mean, that's not great. Do we get some bonuses to it? Include the reserves. Public approval decreases. Okay, we really ought to be careful with that. I don't want to fall. It's quite hard to get it, so maybe we can chill for a bit with the reforms and everything. I don't want to go overboard. Yeah, you can just keep doing this over and over again. It doesn't really mean anything. Belize's first steps towards decolonization. In a long time expected but still important political move, the country of Belize today began the process of decolonization, officially changing its name from British Honduras and removing the Union Jack from its flag. The move coincided with a choreographed public ceremony involving the Prime Minister George Caddo Price, the Royal Governor-General, and a representative of the English government. While it legally remains a self-governing colony under the British Crown, the development represents a formal acknowledgement of Belize's status as an independent nation and the first step in a larger independence roadmap negotiated with the French-English government. Even as Guatemala issued a statement denouncing the artificial nation, celebrations could be heard across the small nation. Good for them. Okay, continuing building the infrastructure. Sphere percent is at 27.1%. We're extremely close to Germany, and we have a higher growth of economy, so it is likely we might overtake them now in March. It would be great if that happened. Okay, let me see, are we missing some factories for... Yeah, we're missing a couple of factories. Okay, let's revisit this and check what we're producing. Okay, I don't think we need that many factories on you. We're already storing way too many guns. This is fine. 2 per day is fine. Okay, we can upgrade some older ones. So let's do that. It's gonna make it much more rapid. We're upgrading here and here, that's fine. As the upgrading the helicopters, transport helicopters. We generally just need 2 more military factors, and considering the civilian sector overtook the military, I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. Nice, the real GDP growth is now 5.14%. Oh, so close. So close. It might actually happen now that we get these ones. Some of these might be what we're waiting for. Okay, let's launch a propaganda campaign. Use the public. And I can now get, what was it? It was... what's Ivate? No, not Ivate. It was Yamaguchi, right? No, it was the one next to Kyoto. Hyogo. Okay, I always messed that one up. So Hyogo. And Hiroshima itself. Oh wait, Hiroshima was over here. Not bad. Sure. Should still be fine, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. Next one will be done when we can get more power here. Okay, so did we finish everything? Signal company we're barely using. Let's do it just to make sure. Yeah. Among the signal specialists are people with unparalleled first-hand knowledge of field use of this equipment. By involving them in the research of new communication technologies, we can make use of their experience. The bonus to initiative is staggering. Okay, so better corruption control is done. And we can now go with an effective civil service. Lowers the need for consumer goods by 5%, gives us political power, security and political parties, and societal development is better. Or we can go with this one. Zaibatsus are happy. Yeah, let's go with military. Is happy. Wait, where's the other bills? There's one over here. And that's it. Okay. Thanks to us, the military has weathered this crisis without losing its position of privilege in Japanese politics. We should remind them of that fact when we can. Hopefully our work on their behalf will induce them to put some of that privilege at our disposal. Come on, we can do it. We can do it just a little bit more. Oh, and we have 3 civilian factories. Healthcare. Factory production efficiency cap. I think we can build a bunch of schools. That's definitely not gonna be a bad idea. That is definitely gonna help. We can put a bunch more down here. And let's put a couple here. That's gonna keep us busy for a bit. In our ports as well. And how's the infrastructure here? We can upgrade it to 7 as well. Did we upgrade it here? There's one here. Let's get you to 8 all. Cool. Okay, that gives us something to do in the meantime. 5.14. Pretty sure they're growing less. The Turkestan region has defeated the Islamic State of Tahlas. We haven't really checked this conflict. Turkmen Republic and the People's Republic of Bukhara. Revolutionary Front, Military Junta, and Naturalized and National Socialism. Phalangist Spain defeated the Basque Republic. Okay. And Germany has a GDP growth of 3.25% and a massive debt of near 500 billion. That's crazy. What is that? That's like 160%? Something like that, 160%. Oh no, it says here 143.8%. Jesus, and poverty rate near with 55%. That is literally insane. Okay, we can plan a small military parade, which will give us a little bit of political power. I like the port construction program. You know what, these ones don't cost us anything, so let's just do them to keep our economy booming. Okay, poverty rate is slowly dropping below 25. That's amazing. Infantry improvements. Fungus, yeah, they're going after the Galician Republic, unfortunately. Not much we can do with it. Motorized equipment, yeah, nothing. Special Forces cap and the aircraft. I mean, we're working on the jet transports and the strategic bombers, so let's get those. The development of large-scale aircraft frames and the expansion of existing turboprop engines designs will enable us to fly planes as intercontinental as our ballistic payload. More importantly, it will enable us to reduce dependence on our allies' airbases and keep our planes aloft for longer durations. Okay, range near 8,000 kilometers. That is definitely something to be proud of. Republic of China has dropped. Yeah, Iran is in the top ones. Okay. Americans require talk on the treaty ports. Dixiecrat paternalism. The official missive landed softly on the Prime Minister's desk, completely out of proportion with the weight of its contents. The office was silent for a few short moments as Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke and the Foreign Minister considered the magnitude of what was occurring. "It's finally come, hasn't it?" Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke ventured. "The Americans have finally worked up the nerve to ask for the treaty ports. Ever since Eisenhower tore up the Akage Accords, we had to know that this would eventually come," the Foreign Minister sighed. "The Americans probably aren't seriously considering going to war for the ports, but..." Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke nodded somberly. 20 years after the victory in the Pacific, the ports were rapidly becoming more trouble than they were worth as Japan faced new challenges from every corner. If Japan could walk away from the negotiations with tangible guarantees, open trade, well provisions, or an enforceable promise to formally recognize Japan's suzerainty over the sphere, then what were two ports really? It would take every ounce of political and diplomatic capital to keep any deals as favorable to Japan as possible, even if they gave up on certain items to gain a temporary advantage to be used later. And if they failed, the Prime Minister's days would surely be numbered. Well, I mean, they give us nothing. Literally, 0 GDP. Don't really have any ships or bases there. Japan proposes a meeting in Hawaii, and so unlock a new decision category for the Honolulu Accords. There is a political power pool that gains or loses political power depending on how much we invest. Both Japan and America will use the system. Whichever superpower invests more will gain all political power from the pool at the end of the clause. We will lose political power. Japan proposes a meeting on a Japanese carrier. A neutral country like Mexico would be the best place to meet. Let's go see what the Americans want. Let's propose a meeting on Hawaii and see how this works. The Honolulu Accords. In August 1945, President Thomas Dewey signed the Akage Accords, which ended the Pacific War in a humiliating defeat for the United States. The Americans were forced to surrender Hawaii and all other Pacific possessions to Japan, who also signed 100-year leases on ports of Los Angeles and San Francisco. However, in 1960, President Kefauver tore up the Akage Accords and resumed a total embargo against the Japanese Empire, leading to a tense international standoff which culminated in the Hawaiian Missile Crisis. Recent diplomatic overtures have caused tensions to thaw and opened the path for the negotiations of the Honolulu Accords, a new final settlement to question of trade and sovereignty in the Pacific. America seeks to reclaim the treaty ports, while Japan desires a resumption of the crucial oil trade with America. The outcomes of the talks will be determined by the political efforts both sides invest into gaining the upper hand in the negotiations, and the talks could go in very interesting directions should the negotiators think outside the box. We are currently discussing the location of the meeting. Japan is currently in the lead. Okay, well, this changes everything. Now we have to be extremely careful what we do with our political power and, if possible, just dump it all into the Accords. We are reaching the end game, boys. It is here. Okay, what does the current bill? Okay, it has very high chance of passing. Administration efficiency will rapidly improve, gain more faction power, increase income taxation, increase minimum minimum wage, policy effectiveness, inflation will decrease by 0.25% and GDP growth will decrease by 0.15. Okay, that is a net gain and a decent one of 0.10. Plus the minimum wage and income taxation will increase. So wait, minimum wage. Okay, here it is. Low stability, production efficiency, monthly industrial expertise, and poverty. Low minimum wage. Okay, and the other one was... what was the other one? The effect of the other one? Financial regulation, income taxation, low income weighted. Income taxation. Then it gives us political power rate and poverty tax rate. Investor friendly code. Interesting. The Americans have a counter-offer. The Americans have come back with Mexico City as a compromise. The foreign minister handed over the diplomatic cable to the prime minister, who read through the contents silently. It'll be on neutral ground, and our diplomatic staff in Mexico will be able to provide secure communications back to Tokyo when we need it. I suppose asking Americans to meet on our terms was too much to hope for, Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke replied. Besides, we have more important business. We need to make sure our diplomats are ready for the American proposal when the summit starts. Let's go on with it. Okay, so now we gained a little bit of power and we have only 25 in the pool. Yes. Okay, that's still fine. Plan the large-scale military exercise. Yes. So we'll see what will come of that. Okay, March is still ending. And we have jumped over them already. 344.78. Yeah, we are back to number 2. The summit is set. The Americans have sent over their agreement on the summit location, the foreign minister said, watching as Prime Minister Ikeda Masanosuke read over the communique. It's about time, Prime Minister Ikeda stated. None of us have time to be playing games over time and place. The foreign minister nodded hesitantly. Can't quite believe we're still going to be doing this, giving up what we won in the war, just like this. Prime Minister Ikeda grimaced before composing himself. It's not just you, believe me, but all we've ever wanted from America are 2 things: oil and markets. If giving the ports back guarantees us those things, this will have been worth it. Always keep your eyes on the prize. Japanese demand oil. Well, we certainly do. We certainly do. So the real GDP growth is going to grow to something like 3.25 after the bill is passed. A terrible offer. US-Japanese talks begin. Okay, let me first finish this. I want to see that we are firmly in the 2nd place. Which we now are. Nice. So 346.18 compared to 345.04. Nice, nice, nice. The bill is still to be passed, right? Yes, that is safe. And what are the things that we can do? Nothing really. Just these ones. Urban investment. I'm not really interested now. So US-Japanese talks begin. Many have noted an increase in diplomatic activity between Japan and USA in the past weeks. Today, speculations on the cause of the uptick was put to rest as the countries announced a high-level diplomatic summit to address the situation in the East Pacific. The stated objectives for the summit is for Japan to secure access to American petroleum, for the USA to secure the return of the treaty ports, and for both countries with their respective alliances to lift their mutual embargo and resume trade. Great hopes are already being pinned on the potential effects of the treaty for the countries' respective economies and for the wider cause of peace in the Pacific and the world. All eyes will be on the summit as they try to navigate the maze of competing interests to find common cause for a deal. Can the Pacific live up to its name? Okay, and we're going to end this episode with a terrible offer. Our diplomats were taken by surprise when the Americans decided to offer us only a small amount of oil. This insignificant amount won't be able to solve our oil crisis. It's going to take a lot more from the Americans if we are going to properly fix our economy. Many among us have wondered whether or not the Americans are giving us the respect we deserve when they decided to make that ridiculous proposal. Prime Minister, there are 3 options on the table right now. We can take the blow to our reputation and accept the current offer, realizing that it will do little to help our situation. We can barter with the Americans in order to receive a more moderate amount of oil. Finally, we can demand the Americans give up a larger amount of oil they rightfully deserve. Accept the small offer of oil and maintain good relations. Ask for a larger amount of oil, but not too much. Demand the greatest amount possible. Okay, so this one would suck. Oh, okay. Yeah, they invested 50. And we gained the 25 from the first chapter. Okay, demand the greatest amount. We're not gonna let them do this to us. Okay, cool. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode with the continuation of the talks. Murder is happy, and so am I.